goes to the Fox Hospital. And look there. He's back in the hospital, in the easy blue dressing gown, at this facility with a delicate floral print on the walls. He'd always had an affinity for flowers. Healthy, yet being repaired, he is back in this gown, and it is like an old costume pulled out of a locked trunk in the attic of bad dreams. In the gown, he feels naked, notices his softness, how his sex has never seemed less willing to rise, as if there could be such a cause in this place. He's healthy but writing a poem. It's called Going Back to the Hospital, and written in lowercase, most notably the first person I, which so often had stood properly capitalized, but for some reason today feels diminished. He's writing a poem called Going Back to the Hospital, but really he wishes he could draw a comic featuring a small mammal version of himself. His animal would be a fox, he decides, and promptly changes the title to Fox Goes to the Fox Hospital. My pills doze until I wake them. On the shelf, behind the bathroom mirror, the one I see myself in, curled over, whimpering, eyes dark and heavy like lakes at night. My pills doze until I shake them, and they dissolve inside me, make complicated arrangements with my biology. They sleep and I take them, gathered in the cup of my hand. They tick against my teeth, and I hold my hand over my mouth as if to shut them up. So it won't just be about this, but this is the kind of thing that seems to be coming up a lot. Seems to be, I wrote the damn thing, but I've been trying to, because this has been out like a little over, actually not even quite a year now, but I've been reading from it a fair bit. I'm starting to try and read the things that I don't want to read, because I feel like there's that leaning stuff, right? Make sense? So yeah, there's going to be a few more of these sort of uncomfortable moments for you. For me as well, but like I said, alcohol, we'll get through it together. Tip your bartenders, everybody. In the bathroom, I hold small echoes in my hands. Each breath, a storm cloud. It is morning. I dream no longer. It is morning. An alarm chips away at me. My hands grip my knees. I'll wash them and wash them. I lean into my body like a needle, like a losing argument. I cannot look at my living blood in this tiny world where I am more alone than being born. More alone than dying. And now I'm going to read a poem about healing, which I didn't really realize was about healing until much later. And it's about a place in South Market called Circle Community Acupuncture. I'm plugging them because they're awesome, right? And they're really cheap. And it's just a very special place. And of course, I'm from New York, but I moved to California, so I have to do like hippie shit to get like my chi flowing and stuff.
It's flowing, baby.
It's working out. At the community acupuncture clinic, the forms are long ropes for climbing into the heaven of good health. They're held together with a clip, a little mouth clamped down. There is no space to write how the cold hands of each doctor felt against my belly. A volunteer takes me by the wrist to meet the acupuncturist. She flips through my pages of blue scribbles as I describe my complicated dream. She wipes my forehead with an alcohol pad, taps a needle into my third eye. And I'm almost silent now, just breathing. As she hovers above each wrist and ankle, a hummingbird pressing its thin beak into flowers. My eyelids flutter each time she taps a needle into me, and when she's done, spreads a blanket across my body. So I realized that this bit here today is, what is it, my chemical wedding? That's what it is, right? It reminds me of my antidepressants, but, not mine, it's like, whatever, right? You're recording this, yeah?
Yeah.
There were a couple of readings where I was like, can you just turn it off for 5 minutes so I could just say like a bunch of stupid shit that I can get out of my system, but it's okay. All right, so there used to be a thing here in the city called Love Parade. Has anyone ever been? A bunch of years ago. Has been in a while. Now it's just everywhere, right? Only. I didn't go. Love Parade. Down Market Street today, there is a love parade, and I fear my body incapable of loving. The girls dance in the streets with bangles and sunglasses and suns painted on their stomachs. It's unbearable. The bank teller hands me my money, winks, thinking perhaps I too will go to the parade, find someone to wrap my love around like clean paper. Outside, the sunlight feels good on my skin, but I walk back into the house. The sunlight feels good, but I sit in my room with the blinds drawn, searching the computer for my friends who will make me feel better about this world that I must be grateful for. So I'm going to read something that is a little bit funny because it's about my dating life. Right? You're all like, I get it, kind of, And so it's shifting away into a little different kind of sickness, which I think love can be sometimes, right? I mean, is it safe to say that here? So there are some lines in here by Robert Duncan, a poet who spent a fair number of years here in San Francisco. And it's about trying to connect with somebody, trying to like go on a date, trying to date somebody, trying to share poems, and they're like, okay, like, not really. It's safe to laugh. I can laugh at this point. So there are some lines in here by Duncan, and I'll try and make it clear when I'm reading them. So this is called "Such Is the Sickness," and I really only read it because I love these lines from Duncan. It's not even my poem. I would just like read you his poem, but. No covers. All right. Such is the sickness. I read her a poem by Robert Duncan. We're very stoned, and she's eating pizza. I'm in something that resembles love, and she doesn't really want to be dating anyone right now. All the flame in me stopped against my tongue. I read that line 3 times, and she nods at me. I look up at the corner of the room, down at my water glass beating on the counter next to the oregano. She is not going to love me, not even after we stood at the bluff at Land's End, at the edge of the continent, on a foggy day, overwhelmed with the enormity of the ocean rocks and the sound they made when the muscular waves pulled them in, clacking into one another underwater. Her face was an open window, and my face was an open window, and we were in the same house. And for a moment, the sun seemed to shine through us. My heart was a stone, a dumb, unmanageable thing in me, I read. And she shakes and shakes the oregano onto her pizza, asks me what I'm thinking about. Such is the sickness of many a good thing. I'm thinking about walking out of here, leaving her with a greased paper plate, but I don't say that. Okay, so I think I'm going to read just like 2 or 3 more. Yeah?
We clap.
Oh yeah, you guys! So good, it just like breaks. That's perfect. Alright, so just a few more. Alright, so I'm going to read kind of, it's not good, so I'm just going to read it, whatever. It's a poem about wanting, I guess, because this is kind of like there's romance in the name of this. And I think this is something we all have in common if you're here, right? You experience like want in some way, because if you didn't, you would just be kind of out at a restaurant. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't be in an artistic space because you would be functioning like the rest of the world, which doesn't run on this, right? So I feel like everyone here is really special. We're friends like automatically if you're in this room. So that's why these things are super, super important. Like, we desperately need each other. I don't mean in, like, my own, like, romantic, weird sense. Like, I mean, like, literally as friends and, like, people who are supposed to live amongst one another, like, we need each other to survive.
Right on.
Right? So, like, these things, super important. I mean, they're pretty stupid, but, like, you know, this is, like, really, really important. So, going to Litquake, going to these events, Loma's opening back up, super cool, right? So, okay, I'm going to finish up. Okay. And because the want is the size of a building, you decide you're going to build a city within yourself. A city that's all sunsets reflected off windows of the buildings where the people work. The buildings where the people work and pretend they're in the sky, or closer to some idea of heaven. She or he is your idea of heaven. She is your idea, and so she's the mortar, the bricks, the girders, the cement. The wires running up and down like electric veins, and this hum is her song. You've been hearing it all along, especially when it rains, and the cars drive, and the people walk the streets, and it is like her breathing. Her heavy breathing when she turns over in bed. It is the rain, and it is when she sleeps, and when she cannot sleep. This is your city. It's the city of her body beneath her many and varied sheets, which still bear traces of your loving. And so the city. And so the buildings. The eternal hum and rise, the comb you honey yourself into. And because the want is the size of a building, you make many more buildings, taller buildings, on top of which you can see the curvature of the earth, far more slight than that of her body. And look there, finally, something that's not her. It is your city. You're making it. You're even opening up a small cupcake shop. You stir eggs into flour all day, wear an apron, and say, "Hey there, cupcake," to every new customer. Look how much you're enjoying life in this city of your making, where suddenly your want is just another building, where your love glistens like all the others, and you almost forget it is your body this is all made of. Thanks.